We enjoy a last sunset from the sea lion. We dock at Herradura early this morning. 40 of our traveling companions this past week are headed home, and we say goodbye to them. For the rest of us, the adventure continues into Costa Rica's interior. Our destination today is Monteverde, but first we'll stop at Carara National Park. Carara is in a transition zone from the rainforest we've been in to the tropical dry forest. Jenny tells us it's a favorite for bird watchers. The Scarlet Macaws used to be found all over Costa Rica, but now they're only here and on the Osa Peninsula. Jenny, our naturalist guide, is very good at explaining what we are seeing, which includes exotic plants, like this strangler fig, which engulfs and eventually kills its host tree, and more birds as promised. As in the rainforest, the trees tower over us, and the epiphytes cover the trunks and branches. We see more macaws, perched and in flight. They are magnificent. This trogon is pretty spectacular in its own right. And the insect kingdom is also well represented here. And there's drama. This iguana is on the same nest tree that we saw the macaw earlier. They have a taste for eggs. It would be nice to spend a little more time here, but we have a schedule to keep. Our destination is Monteverde, in the famous Cloud Forest. But first we have to stop on the bridge over the infamous Tárcoles River. The crocodiles seem to thrive here in what is considered the most contaminated river basin in the country. The herons and kingfishers go after what's too small for the crocodiles. The bridge is equally infamous for its souvenir stands. Jenny tells us the road to Monteverde has been substantially improved in the last 2 years, but the last hour is still on narrow, winding dirt road. We stop for a look west. The road we're on snakes along the ridges, and the body of water in the distance is the Gulf of Nicoya on the Pacific Ocean. Looking east, we see the Continental Divide. This is definitely not rainforest. But ahead we see a bank of clouds over our destination, the Cloud Forest. We arrive in Monteverde in time for a late lunch. After lunch, we visit the bat jungle for a unique trip into the world of bats. Then a member of the Quaker community that left Alabama for Costa Rica in 1951 reminisced about the founding of Monteverde and the early days. We arrive at our home for the next 2 nights, Hotel Fonda Vela. From our room, we look out on the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve. Birds, some seen and some only heard, welcome us. This unassuming little bird is the national bird of Costa Rica. As the sun goes down, the clouds roll in. We start to appreciate what cloud forest means. This morning, the birds are our wake-up call. Before breakfast, we explore the grounds. Looks like Pablo Casals. And a barefoot fan. And birds. Lots of birds. These squirrels entertained us during breakfast. Next stop is the Butterfly Garden, where we're entertained by Bryna, our guide, who enthusiastically introduces us to the world of insects. Then she leads us to the butterfly gardens. This is as close as I could get to a morphos showing its colors. No hitchhiking allowed. We make a souvenir stop in downtown Monteverde. The birds found us here too. We stop for lunch and find a collection of large frogs of the ceramic variety, very tame. Then on to the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve. The cloud forest is famous for the variety of hummingbirds, but they're not easy to see. Not so when you provide feeders. I love the names. Green-crowned brilliant, violet saber-wing, green violet ear, purple-throated mountain gem, coppery-headed emerald, and of course the magnificent hummingbird. That's a tough act to follow, but we are on a mission. We enter the heart of the reserve. It looks like a rainforest, but the moisture is from the almost constant cloud cover. The birds are easier to hear than see in the dense foliage. Our mission is to find the resplendent quetzal. Ronald spots a pair. See them about 40 yards out. It helps to have a long lens or a spotting scope. This beautiful bird is 14 inches long, plus up to another 25 inches of tail feathers on the male. Not only is the quetzal Guatemala's national bird, but also the name of their currency. Today we had the good fortune to see 2 pair of quetzal and more flying. Mission accomplished. The clouds are closing in. Photography is going from difficult to impossible. We call it a day. We watch a brown jay eat its breakfast as we eat ours. As we check out, I see the bird with my favorite name, Chachalaca. It's just fun to say. We're headed to Arnal Volcano, but just outside Monteverde, we're stopping at the Skywalk. It's a trail connecting several hanging bridges that'll give us a chance to get up into the forest canopy. The foliage is lush. On the bridges, we see the top story of the forest. We hear more birds than we see. Epiphytes cover the trunks and branches. Tree ferns are giants. We hear the howlers long before we see them. We watch them forage through the canopy from a hanging bridge. Jenny says it's time to go. We have much more to see today.